If you've ever seen a commercial for the chip brand Ruffles, you've likely heard their slogan, "Ruffles have ridges." Just like these crispy potato snacks, German tanks during World War II around 1943 also bore some strange ridges. Unfortunately, this video was not sponsored by Ruffles, but nonetheless we will be discussing the reason Nazi Germany chose to slather their tanks in a strange mixture to create the distinct textured look on mid and late war tanks. As I just mentioned, today's video is not sponsored by anyone, but I do want to give a quick mention to Odyssey, where I have my YouTube content mirrored. Odyssey is by far one of the most promising YouTube alternatives and is completely ad-free, so you can watch my videos there at no cost. They even still have visible dislikes. If you want to give me a follow there, I'd greatly appreciate it, as it's my backup in case anything were to happen to this channel, so check out the link to that in the description. Now back to what you clicked on this video for. Produced by the Chemische Werk Zimmer company in Berlin, this coating was made up of 25% polyvinyl acetate, 10% wood filler, 40% barium sulfate, 10% zinc sulfide, and 15% ochre pigment. Known as Zimmerit, its use was widespread on German armor during the mid and late war. Aside from adding a rough-looking texture to the tanks, which likely helped with camouflaging the machines, what benefit could adding this to every vehicle leaving the factory provide? Well, similar to the much larger armored warships prowling the seas, tanks were primarily made out of armored steel, which is magnetic. To combat this, a technique called degaussing was common, which greatly reduced the magnetic field of a ship. However, this required a complex system of wires, which would be far too impractical for use on tanks. Still, magnetic anti-tank mines did exist, and the Germans were convinced it was necessary to protect their armored vehicles against this threat. Supposedly, this was caused by the introduction of the Haftholudung anti-tank weapon in 1942, which utilized magnets to attach a shaped charge to enemy tanks. Fearing the Soviets could easily copy this design if any were captured, this caused the typical German over-engineering for a solution. Unlike the degaussing method, Zimmerit itself did not actually demagnetize the tank, but rather acted as a sort of buffer to prevent a magnetic attraction, causing the mine to fail to stick. Beginning in December of 1943, German tanks leaving the factory bore this new ridged coating. Despite my over-engineering joke, this was actually a fairly simple process compared to much of Germany's tank production. As usual, the tanks would be coated with an anti-corrosive primer, usually a distinct red color, followed by the Zimmerit. When it arrived for application, the coating had a paste-like consistency and had a solvent mixed into it which reportedly smelled like acetone. Most likely, this was done to prevent it from hardening during transport. When it came time to put on the vehicle, it would be applied in two coats using metal trowels. The first coat was 5mm thick and was applied in squares marked out using the trowel. Following this, the coating would need to dry for 24 hours before applying the second coat. The base coat of squares would assist the second thinner coat in sticking, and the distinct ridges were added using a metal comb. This wavy pattern helped provide that rough camouflage finish and a more difficult surface for mines to contact with. After this second coating was completed, it would be dried using gas blowtorches. The drying process, which took about an hour per tank, hardened the material and removed the solvent from it, creating a texture said to be similar to compressed sawdust. If left to dry without the use of a torch, it would take 8 days for the material to fully harden, and considering the desperate need for tanks, this was not an option. It's important to note that one source puts the initial drying time for the base coat at only 4 hours, with the 24-hour figure coming from a British report on the subject dating from 1945. This does seem to be the more believable figure. It is possible, though, that in some cases application differed due to the supply issues or attempts to speed up production, so I can't say for certain. Regardless, the application was a simple process which did not require experienced workers, but did still add several days to the production process. The only real issue would be if a soft spot was left in the Zimmerit which could come off the vehicle. However, if properly hardened, this was far from a concern, as even when struck by projectiles, very little of the coating would be knocked off the armor. It's even reported that some tanks dug up decades after the war still bore trace amounts of Zimmerit on them. Unfortunately, despite knowing virtually every detail about the production and application process, it is not clear how effective Zimmerit was in combat. Despite the German fears, neither Soviet nor Allied troops were issued with magnetic mines, with only a few reports of captured German mines being used. Britain also supplied around 159,000 clam magnetic charges to the USSR, but not much is known about their usage, and it only contained about 8 ounces of TNT, which likely would not cause significant damage unless placed on the suspension or another weak point on the tank. Some evidence was found from Soviet tests which believed the coating to be some form of protection from Molotov cocktails or a form of camouflage. Strangely, they found the Zimrit to consist of 53% barium sulfate, 16 to 17% quartz, 27% organic material, with the final 3% unidentified. Since this is different from the actual mixture the German records show, it's possible their samples may have been misidentified or contaminated somehow. Either way, the Soviets hypothesized that the ridges would concentrate liquid or heat from flammable liquids, causing the coating to melt and extinguish the flames. Although obviously this was not the intention of the coating, it was later found by the British that a vehicle coated in Zimrit when hit by a flamethrower would remain at a survivable temperature inside, whereas an uncoated tank would get so hot that the ammo could explode. Although once again, the increased camouflage was noted and similar coatings were tested both before and after over 100 tons of Zimrit was captured in Germany for concealment purposes, the anti-magnetic properties were never fully tested, but the British found that the ridges did not add any noticeable increase in protection aside from concealment. Some of the captured Zimrit was shipped to Australia at the end of the war for trials against Japanese magnetic mines, but the war was over before it was tested. Even the use of Zimrit by the Germans was short-lived, with it being phased out in September of 1944. The reason for this is quite ironic, as it was rumored to pose a fire hazard and an order went out to halt application at the factories. This was later found to be untrue, but the halt on applications remained, likely due to the coating not being needed and adding unnecessary man-hours to much-needed tank production. Realistically, with only the Axis powers using magnetic mines in large quantities, the coating only served to protect them from their own weapons anyways, so why waste the resources on it? In the end, Zimrit itself was fairly unsuccessful in its intended role and was not used post-war due to the magnetic mines being made obsolete by portable launchers such as the bazooka and RPG, among others. Similar coatings, however, live on to this day, with various textured substances being used on many modern tanks to increase concealment or aid in lowering thermal signatures. Even during the Second World War, similar applications were attempted, with the Soviets and Americans using concrete as both additional armor and protection against mines. I actually have a full video that you can watch after this one on that topic. The Americans in particular tried a number of solutions to the Japanese magnetic mines, ranging from spikes to aluminum plates, but I plan to cover those in a future video along with other Pacific field mods. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more topics like this, let me know by liking the video or leaving a comment telling me what I should cover in the future. Remember to subscribe if you
Recently across China, a series of disasters have occurred triggered by shoddy construction, colloquially termed tofu drag projects.
Jesus
On
Christ.
September 13th, according to an announcement from the Jianyang City Transportation Bureau, a crane collapse occurred during the elevation process at the Jingzhenren Expressway Bridge project over the Tor River. This project was undertaken by the 2nd Navigational Engineering Bureau of China Construction Company. As of now, this tragedy has resulted in 6
Getting
deaths
tired.
and 5 injuries.
Wanna go to bed.
Footage from
Time
the
is
scene
it?
reveals
11.
these primary structures scattered on the ground. The videographer's trembling hands and exclamations underscore the shock of the moment. Netizens commenting on the event said, "Isn't this all due to multiple layers of subcontracting? A project initially costing 100,000 yuan could dwindle to just 10 or 20,000 by the time it reaches the hands of smaller contractors. These contractors then hire temporary workers unfamiliar with the operations, which leads to minor errors, resulting in catastrophes like crane collapses." In July 2023, a 32-story building in Xinhua, Hunan, experienced a massive exterior wall collapse. Bricks and tiles rained down like shrapnel, injuring 4 pedestrians below and damaging nearby vehicles. Footage captures pedestrians and vendors on the ground floor, including a woman riding an electric bike with a girl on the back. They narrowly escaped the falling debris, which looked like a missile strike. A close look at the video reveals exposed reinforcement bars from the structure's facade, raising grave concerns about the building's integrity. Video footage shows a woman noticing chunks falling from a nearby building and quickly grabbing her child to take cover, while nearby cars are pockmarked from the debris. The video shows a tall building, seemingly dozens of stories high. From the video, it is evident that parts of the building's facade, including exposed reinforcing bars, have crumbled away, raising significant concerns about the structure's quality. Such shoddily constructed projects are termed tofu dreg constructions. Records indicate that since 1998, numerous buildings across mainland China have been exposed for poor construction quality or for having accidents, often as a result of official corruption. As a result, this term has gained widespread use to describe such subpar constructions. Tofu dreg projects remain a widespread issue in China. Many of these structural issues are only discovered after disaster strikes. Regrettably, countless lives have been lost over decades due to these tofu dreg constructions, yet they haven't garnered significant attention from the government. So tragically, history repeats itself. On July 23rd, in Qiqihar's 34th Middle School, the gymnasium roof collapsed, resulting in 11 deaths, including female volleyball team members and their coach. The local government's inadequate response ignited widespread outrage among Qiqihar citizens. In the aftermath, locals spontaneously brought flowers and candles to the school's entrance in remembrance. A devastated man who trained alongside the deceased was seen kneeling and mourning, saying, "I've come to see you all. Farewell, coach. In the next life, I'll still be your training partner." On-site footage showed the gymnasium's roof entirely caved in, leaving only the surrounding walls intact. Reports indicate that at the time of the accident, 19 individuals were inside, with only 4 escaping unharmed. Investigations revealed that a construction company responsible for an adjacent building project had stored expanded perlite on the gym's roof. Perlite is a thermal and acoustic insulation material that expands and increases in weight when wet. Heavy rains thus led to the roof's collapse. A video of a grieving parent at the hospital went viral. The parent expressed strong dissatisfaction toward local authorities and the hospital for failing to communicate with families even 5 hours following the accident. While parents anxiously awaited updates, arriving police and local officials were either preoccupied with maintaining order or continuously reporting to their superiors, with no one addressing the parents' concerns. In one video, a father lamented, "This is the current state. They told me my daughter is gone. I said we haven't recognized her yet. The children were covered in dust, dirt, and blood. I asked for a chance to identify her, hoping it wasn't my child." Tragically, no official response was provided. As China's August 1st Army Day approached, memorial items outside the 34th Middle School were swiftly cleared away by authorities. Adding insult to injury, the school's released commemoration statement on July 29 was found to have plagiarized content, leading to sharp criticisms online. The pain, anger, helplessness, and sorrow typically associated with war have been vividly exhibited in these tofu dreg construction-related disasters. Since 2023, such accidents have been frequent in China, forcing some people from their homes, leaving others indifferent, while many face tragic consequences. China's real estate and construction boom since the 1990s has produced such hastily executed projects. Corruption, shoddy work, and negligence have become defining features of Chinese construction. Often, people's life savings are invested in homes they dare not inhabit. Tofu dreg constructions not only symbolize the subpar quality of Chinese infrastructure, but also emphasize the profound distrust between citizens and the government under the Chinese Communist Party's rule. This mistrust has been cultivated through a series of unfortunate events, including food safety scandals, teacher abuse cases, and state-sanctioned kidnappings. Modern China, under the CCP's reign, increasingly resembles a looming tofu dreg construction waiting to collapse. This threat isn't confined to public facilities, but is also widespread in residential areas. In 2023, China witnessed its own version of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. In a video, a woman asks, "Using the electric pole as a reference, is this building leaning?" It was indeed. According to reports from mainland media Daily Economic News, a significant land erosion incident occurred in Tianjin's Country Garden Phoenix Court community since May 31st, leading to numerous buildings leaning alarmingly with large visible cracks appearing on roads and sidewalks. Footage shows broken facades, with supporting columns collapsing. Extensive ground fractures are visible throughout the community. Most high-rise buildings are discernibly slanted. After the land eroded, roads were visibly elevated in places. Authorities asserted that after expert evaluation, the cause of the ground subsidence was attributed to a sudden geological disaster, possibly related to shallow soil erosion in the affected area, leading to foundation settling. Soon after shifting blame to natural disasters, the Daily Economic News removed all reports related to the Country Garden property, keeping only positive news about the development. Though officials attribute the housing issues to natural geological disasters, a comprehensive assessment is needed to discern whether the cause is natural or human-made. Local residents' footage revealed horizontal fractures in some buildings, suggesting that the safety
so
concerns
scary.
at country garden
Holy shit.
properties might stem from construction quality
God
and
damn.
geological survey
Would you live there?
discrepancies. A man in the video commented,
Jesus Christ, I
"Country
won't
gardens
live
buildings are
there.
leaning and the roads have collapsed. When you see many
Sounds like a
high-rise buildings in
shithole.
your city, be wary. Many of these recent constructions might end up as building waste because they're the result of rapid turnarounds." What is a rapid turnaround? Data indicates that for Chinese real estate companies to maximize profits, efficient capital operation is essential. Country Garden, the developer in question, is renowned for its efficiency. For instance, the day a land parcel is acquired, the Design Institute must produce designs overnight. By the fourth
And so
month,
many weapons, but
properties are on the
damn.
market for pre-sale, and by the sixth month, capital is reinvested. This fast-paced approach, often dubbed the 4-5-6 model, has resulted in reduced time for safety review, becoming a significant reason for foundational and structural issues. The haste applied to capital operations is mirrored in the construction process.
So many weapons, but
Signage
damn,
on
I couldn't
Country
even
Garden's
use one of
construction
them.
site
My
reads, quote, "Work as usual
hyper
in light
cooldown
weather.
doesn't make
Continue
any
working
sense.
in heavy
This cooldown
weather.
doesn't make any
Speed up
sense
on
though.
clear days. Work with lights
That's why I
on at
stopped
night.
grinding
We
for a
won't
long
rest
while,
until the earth
long time
explodes
in
and not until
orcs.
the universe reboots." Industry insiders believe that while compressing construction schedules, construction quality and safety standards are compromised. Typically, reinforced concrete structures in Chinese high-rises should be constructed in clear weather to ensure concrete dries and sets properly. Constructing during rain can compromise the concrete's strength, resulting in tofu-drag constructions. Despite this, Country Garden's blatant disregard for construction norms indicates severe shortcomings in China's construction safety regulations. Construction safety issues in China are prevalent, often resulting from rushing to meet deadlines, accelerating capital turnovers for high profits, and cutting necessary expenses. Buildings constructed this way sometimes even explode unpredictably. In 2008's Wenchuan earthquake in Sichuan province, many lost their lives due to tofu-drag constructions. According to UNICEF, about 12,000 schools in Sichuan were damaged during the earthquake, accounting for 1/7 of all local school buildings. At the time, the Chinese government reported that only 5,000 students had died or were missing. Many doubted the statistics provided by the Chinese Communist Party and raised questions about their validity. According to RFI, 3 days after the Wenchuan earthquake, Sichuan writer and Chengdu environmentalist Tan Zuoren visited the devastated Beichuan Middle School and conceived the idea of investigating the quality of the school buildings. After more than 20 visits to the disaster area and conducting surveys with parents, he found that casualty rates among students in about 20 schools with collapsed structures reached a staggering 85%. The government's construction standards for schools require, quote, "no cracks in minor quakes, no collapse in medium quakes."
That's so much seed of void now that open up. 20 minutes now.
Questioned whether these schools met construction standards and whether they were linked to shoddy construction. He urged authorities to investigate thoroughly. However, rather than conducting an investigation, the authorities arrested Tan. In February 2010, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for inciting subversion of state power. Notably, the judgment only mentioned his public commemoration of the Tiananmen Square incident and made no reference to his investigation into the poorly constructed schools. According to The Diplomat, nearly 70,000 victims were reported, with 20,000 students perishing in collapsed school buildings. Data suggests that these buildings were mostly constructed during China's economic boom in the 2000s and at a low cost. In contemporary China, the
I'm gonna go to
safety
bed
of
after
such
the next 5 minutes.
remains a concern. Sculptor
I'm getting tired.
"These Chinese
Enough.
tofu drag projects cannot withstand earthquakes. Their structures are inherently flawed. Even a slight shake can bring down a building. The damage in China is magnified many times compared to other countries. Such a quake in Japan or the US wouldn't cause buildings to collapse." Globally, China had earned the title of infrastructure fanatic, with many countries drawn to its construction speed and volume. The Wall Street Journal reported that in the past decade, China provided $1 trillion in loans to countries along its Belt and Road Initiative aimed at
Stephen.
Shit, so loud.
Okay, we have one here.
Shit, sorry. So loud.
In the world of fat acceptance, we have several types of people. We got the victims of addiction, the Nikocado avocado type. Honestly, in his case, I don't know if he's addicted to food or just addicted to the revenue he generates from his channel, or addicted to social media clout. It could be a variety of things there. Then we got the people who were kind of lied to by the entire movement that being fat is great and that you get to eat whatever you want and there's no real health repercussions. You should just be proud of your body at any size.
Just a reminder
Dumbass.
that I am very fat and very sexy, and I am 100% glorifying obesity, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Conveniently leaving out the fact that sometimes it's hard to move at a different size, or the heart disease, of course. Then we got those people who were initially lied to by the movement and then realized that, hey, this isn't as awesome as I thought it'd be. Despite the fact that I'm eating all that I want, I'm not really feeling great. So then they started working on themselves for a better future and a longer, happier life. And then, of course, we got the queen, the champion, the leader, I would say, J-Bay official. Of course, she's not like the leader of the fat acceptance movement or anything, but she went pretty viral very recently for asking for free extra airline seats. I thought this was like a one-off viral video, which is why I never actually
Excuse me? Free airline seats? Are you kidding me? Fucking idiot.
covered it ever again. Until now, when I've seen her pop up on my timeline once again, and then I actually went to her TikTok and realized that this is all she does. This is her full-time job, just advocating for people to be at a really unhealthy weight and advocating for extremely ridiculous things like asking several institutions to change their entire policies just regarding fat people. The first thing we saw was regarding the airline industry asking for extra seats, but apparently she wants to go into every aspect of society and rewrite everything just for fat people. Apparently she talks about the hotel industry, which we'll be checking out in a bit.
I'm on a mission to revolutionize
Checking
the
out.
travel
Ha,
industry
got
and
it.
make it a more accessible, accepting, accommodating place for all. The needs of plus-size travelers matter just as much as anybody else, and today I'm going to cover
Big
what we're
demands,
looking for
bro.
accessible, size-inclusive hotel amenities. Size-inclusive hotel amenities
sheesh.
are crucial for ensuring that plus-size travelers feel welcomed, accommodated, and comfortable during their stay. We deserve an environment that respects our needs and body diversity. These are the
Gross.
exact steps that hotels can take to be more size-inclusive and accessible for travelers of all sizes.
Gross.
Number 1 on the list, provide sturdy, wider chairs without armrests in guest rooms, lobbies, and common areas to accommodate different body sizes and types. Number 2 on the list, ensure beds with strong support and a higher weight capacity.
Okay, come on. All right. So sturdy, wider chairs. That's something I kind of expected. She probably wants that everywhere, installed in every crevice of the entire world. Every single chair, the bus stop seats, need to make them wider. The one thing that's pretty obvious here is that she expects the entire world to change just for her. And that's like a ridiculous level of entitlement. Like, there's not many people at your size, okay? And they can't change everything just for you. That would make literally everything 10 times more expensive, just like when you were asking for free extra airline seats. Listen, the fact of the matter is we all want certain specific changes in different ways. I wish the seats weren't so hard. I wish they all had cushions, right? And that's somewhat of a personal preference for me, and I'm not going to expect the entire world to change just for me, which is kind of what you're expecting other people to do for you over here, which is probably not going to happen just in terms of financial measures. Like, they're not going to go out of their way just for you, you know? Sturdier beds is just absolutely wild. I mean, I feel like asking for that is just embarrassing. Like, at that point, you need to go through some personal change, man. Come on.
Number 3, make elevators and hallways spacious to allow for easy movement of larger individuals and those utilizing mobility devices.
You know, the average elevator, I'm not sure, don't quote me on this. Maybe you guys can tell me, but I swear like my building elevator probably has like 15 to 20 person capacity. How could that possibly be inconvenient for you? Like, there's no way you actually make up the capacity for 15 people unless you're talking about the fact that there's 15 people already in the elevator and then you make up the rest of the 5 or something. I mean, that's literally what you were saying over here, which is ridiculous. Like, how big do you want the elevators to be? I mean, isn't that the average elevator? Maybe the smallest elevator I've seen in my life maybe is probably like 5 people. Like, does it possibly get lower than that? I've never seen an elevator just for like 2 or 3 people, which would be possibly inconvenient for her.
4, install grab bars in showers and near toilets. Offer adjustable handheld shower heads and raised
This
toilet seats for
demands,
added
man. I would say
Wait,
kill
wait, wait,
yourself.
what do you mean raised toilet seats? What?
Just for you?
That's such a weird request.
The
You mean
fuck?
raise it so that you don't have to bend down? Are you kidding me? This is probably gonna hurt you in the long run. Like, if you actually have so little movement to the fact that
Fucking
you
hate these
cannot
kind of people,
bend
like,
down, you're gonna become incapacitated soon enough. Like, this is just completely and utterly unnatural. You're not fighting for fat people here. You're just making life worse and worse for them. Like, if they, you know, the stage we're at in society now is where established doctors from Stanford and Harvard are saying that we're going towards branding obesity as genetic. Okay, we're getting real crazy now. Obviously, that isn't the consensus, but there are certain doctors saying that, and they are being pushed on social media. In fact, this woman is constantly, like every other TikTok, is sponsored by some goddamn company. It's clear like this type of messaging is being promoted a lot.
Number 6, provide pool lifts and handrails at the entry of the pool. This will allow for plus-size guests and guests with different abilities to enjoy all amenities.
Think
Number
to
7,
yourself.
hotel restaurants should have roomy seating options and sturdy chairs, ensuring that everybody can dine comfortably.
She really
Number
likes
8,
those sturdy
offer
chairs.
larger beach and pool seating. Provide oversized loungers and
How
seating
many
at the
demands
pool
you
area,
have?
allowing travelers
You
of
need?
all sizes and
Jesus
abilities to be
fucking Christ.
comfortable. Number 9,
Don't you feel ashamed,
hotels
like,
should
at
provide
all?
size-inclusive bathrobes. These should go up to a size 6X.
Don't you feel ashamed?
Whoa, 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 what? There's a 6X? Ain't no way. Wait, there's a 6X? I thought that was a meme on the internet. I thought that was just, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't go into the clothing section at the store a lot, right? But the last time I did, I think the biggest size I ever saw for like shirts and stuff was maybe triple XL? I think triple XL was the biggest. When did we get to 6XL? Is this an America exclusive thing? It could possibly be, or like a Canada exclusive thing. I don't know, because I don't think you would find that at every random store on the street. Now the bathrobe thing, I saw that coming from a mile away. Like they've been whining about that for ages.
Gross.
The thing about it is I don't get it. Why do you need a towel to wrap around your entire body? Unless you're like walking around in it at home, which you don't really need to do. You could use like a hand towel and wipe your entire body with it. Get a couple hand towels and that'll do the trick. Hygienically or whatever, you want multiple towels because you don't want to be wiping your butt with the same towel you wipe your face. I still do that though, by the way. I'm sorry, I don't really care. Okay, I think my butt is clean. Okay, just saying. But I heard that's a recommendation on the internet. Do you guys have like 3 towels, like one for your balls or something? I feel like that's weird. Okay. But anyways, it's not required. Like if I had to do it, I'd use a couple of hand towels to dry myself off. I'm not gonna ask for an entire bathrobe.
And hotels should also provide bath sheets or plus-size friendly towels so that travelers of all sizes and abilities can use them comfortably. And last but not least, this is an important one. Display clear and accurate information on these amenities on hotel websites. Include weight limits, seat dimensions, and things like that. And include information on the size-inclusive amenities available. This will help plus-size...
The thing is, you're like increasing the work of every single service in the entire world by like 50%, dude. Goddamn, they don't need to include those instructions for 99% of the population because they fall well within that. It's like having a weight limit for a toilet seat. You're not gonna need that for most people, okay? And I don't know if you possibly may struggle with that. It's such a fringe case, they're not gonna do it just for you.
By implementing these size-inclusive hotel amenities, hotels can become more inclusive and accommodating. Be sure to hit that follow button for more
companies
plus-size
actually
travel.
I'll be sure to hit that follow button for sure. I feel like she's only speaking for herself. Like, where's the rest of this community? I literally I've seen like 3 of them on the internet in the entire world. So I know there's a bunch of like other people supporting this, and they're all like thin, they're all like fit or something, and they're like, you go girl or something, because they're not the ones suffering from heart disease. Obviously they don't really care for other people in that sense. I agree with some, but others are just not possible. The amount of money it will take to make all of these changes is unreal. Well, anything for fat people, anything for JB the queen over here. I agree this is ideal, but some of these are out of control. The lift size, for example. No, just make a bigger deal. Like you can make the lift capacity up to 30 people just for her, apparently. Like, I don't understand. I swear 15 is the average. How could you need more than 15 people capacity? Are you bringing your friends or something and they're all the same size? We got Swedish aviation going well. Okay, I don't think Swedish aviation is supporting this right now.
As a plus size babe, it can be so hard to find a towel that actually wraps all the way around you. So today I'm excited to try
Man,
out
she's
Lux
so
Love
fucking gross. Look at that belly.
Watch till the very end for a discount code. First off, I love this light.
I told you, so she's just sponsored by all
Gross.
these companies. I don't know how much money they're making off these. I don't know how much they're paying her, but I did see in another post that she actually makes 6 figures. So I'm pretty sure that's a year, not a month or anything. So it's not crazy money. It's still pretty impressive, but they're basically paying her to continue harming herself perpetually, okay? It's kind of sick. It's kind of disgusting. I don't know. I feel
No,
like
she
these
is
companies
disgusting.
should not be supporting
Not kinda.
this.
It definitely
She
looks light
is.
enough. Now let's see if it fits my size 6X body comfortably.
Gross.
And just like that, it wraps all the way around and covers me fully, which I'm
Fucking
super
land
impressed by.
whale. Oh my
Lux Love
god.
makes towels that will fit everybody. Lux Love has payment plans and they offer free shipping. Use code JBay for 10% off and follow them at Lux Love.
I mean, just take the curtain at that point, right? I mean, hashtag ad, I ditched the towel struggles for good, wrapped up in luxury with Lux Love towels. These gems embrace my size 6X bod perfectly and are oh so cozy. 6X sounds like a multiplier you'd put in a video game, like 6X strength, 6X speed. I drank the potion of healing and got 6X my health. I don't know. 10X is the platinum trophy. Oh boy. It's freaking goddamn $75 for one towel.
$75. $75? Holy sh. 3,000.
Nah, bro, I'm buying curtains at that point, dude. I'm using multi-purpose curtains at that point. Can you give back my Nan's curtains back? She's crying now. Okay. There's people in different parts of the world struggling to even get a meal to exist. And here you are, eating 6 families worth of food, okay? Think about them, holy shit. Payment plans for a towel. Yeah, you can pay for this 6XL size towel in installments, you know? Just one payment per month, you know, $10 per month. You'll get over it in about 7 months. Okay, so now we're moving on to restaurants because it's not just travel industry. It's not just hotel industry. It's everything. Everything must be accommodated. The entire world must be changed for her.
I've been uncomfortable in a restaurant because of your size. I know the struggle, and that's why I'm making today's video.
You should
Today's
be.
video is all about
Should be
how
ashamed
restaurants can
for
be
yourself.
more size inclusive and accessible for people of all sizes and abilities. With this video, I hope to educate
The word. I know what. Never mind. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna die anyway soon enough.
some restaurant owners so that they can make their restaurants more size inclusive and accessible. Here are my 10 solutions for how restaurants can create a more inclusive environment.
Oh my
Solution
god.
number 1, comfortable seating. Restaurants should provide spacious and sturdy chairs without armrests so that people of all sizes can dine comfortably.
We need armrests for chairs. Are you kidding me? I mean, I get making stuff bigger, okay? Because that's fine. I mean, it does cost more and it's probably impossible to do. But suppose, hypothetically, in a dream world, we could make everything bigger. That's fine because you're not really inconveniencing anyone. But taking away armrests, that's taking away something from all the other people who enjoy armrests. I'm on an armrest right now, okay? And it's convenient. Helps me not drop my arms the entire time, okay? I don't know.
Solution number 6, ensure that your tables are not secured to the ground. Make sure they can be moved to make room for individuals who might need more space. Solution
Like, what you're asking for is so downright ridiculous. You want the entire world uprooted in mishmash. You want to play Sims over here.
Solution number 7, offer more room in booth seating. Make sure that there's plenty of space to move around between the table and booth seat. This will ensure that people of various body sizes can sit there and be comfortable. Solution number 8, staff training. Train staff on what type of accommodations can help plus size individuals have a better experience.
Solution number 9. Put down the fork. Oh my god. Your life would improve so much if you actually took some personal accountability. Like, this is a cry for help. You're spending every single day doing this type of shit. I mean, fair enough, you're earning a good income. That's sort of respectable, but is it really worth sacrificing your entire life and your health? I don't think so, honestly. And the main issue here is, why are you encouraging other people to do this as well, making them think it's okay? And you were like bragging about your income in one of the other posts as well. Maybe people look at this and are like, I'm gonna be as big as J-Bay over here, enjoy life and earn 6 figures. So I don't know, although this is not very an appealing lifestyle. Or maybe
No,
just eat at a park on a blanket and have a picnic. Yeah, there's plenty of ways to get around this, honestly.
Where to shop for plus size clothing, part 13. Thigh Society.
Dude, you cannot go to a place called Thigh Society. Sizes 2 to 34. Okay, Thigh Society in the comments. We love you. Okay, dude. Okay, so here she's addressing the negative comments or people actually concerned about her health, apparently. The only people trying to help you.
Stitch this. How do you handle negative comments about your body or body shaming online? I'll go first. Honestly, for me, it all depends. I get thousands of hate comments and body shaming comments on a weekly basis. And something that helped me tremendously was turning off notifications on like all social media platforms. This way, I don't have to doom scroll through a bunch of negative.
Well, there's one choice of ignoring everything people say to you. Obviously, the mean stuff, feel free to ignore it. The advice like eating healthy and working out and not promoting such a disgusting, frankly, disgusting lifestyle to other people, you should probably pay attention to those comments.
If I do happen to see a comment or if someone points it out to me, I usually delete and block and go about my business. I also use daily affirmations that really help me with my body acceptance, self-acceptance journey. I actually put together 25 body positive affirmation cards so that I could help others. They're linked up in my bio and they're completely free. How do you deal with negative comments?
There's one thing being body positive and affirming yourself and saying you were awesome, you were beautiful, all of that, and you deserve love. That's cool and all. Lying to yourself can't be helpful, can it? Just eat healthy, work out, and fast. That's probably the best advice you will ever get in your entire life. Just work out and eat healthy. It's not that hard. I would say it's pretty hard if people are going through this level of dodging accountability. Like, it's gotta be pretty hard, man.
The lack of plus-size representation in travel. When the bed frame isn't plus-size friendly at the hotel.
Kill yourself.
What do you mean? Wait, when the bed frame isn't plus size friendly at the hotel? Guys, can you tell me the average weight a bed frame can take? And that looks like, is that a queen size? That looks like a king size or queen size bed. That's supposed to hold 2 people, right? There's 2 pillows on that, and it's that's supposed to hold 2 people. I don't understand. Man, dude, the life has got, like, why did you make life 16 times harder for yourself? I guess escaping from this lifestyle, which, you know, working out and eating healthy is so much harder than asking the entire world to change, apparently. I mean, I imagine it's a big hurdle, but once you get past that initial stage, you'll be fine. Like,
the lack of resources available for plus-size travelers.
What resources?
One weight limits
A burger?
and seat dimensions aren't available on their website. Dealing with hostility from other passengers because of your size.
I mean, come on. Nobody is gonna be like, oh, you're fat, get off the plane or something.
No.
But if you're sitting on a seat, okay, and you're, I'm sorry, if your body and your hand is leaking into the other seat and taking up a portion of the other person's seat, obviously there's gonna be a little bit of hostility there. Obviously, people are gonna be a wee bit mad over there. You're taking up the space that they literally paid for, okay? You can't be mad at that. I have a solution to all of that, but you ain't gonna like it, okay?
This is a great question, and as much as I've talked about buying 2 seats as a plus-size traveler who wears a size 6X, I've never given you the real tea on how comfortable it is to sit in 2 seats. So let me break it down for you in this video. I wear a size 6X, and so does my partner. When we travel, we sit together in a row of 3. So our situation might be a little bit different than yours.
Okay, that's not too bad, honestly. A row of 3 and 2 people. That means you're only taking 1.5 seats. So obviously 2 seats would be comfortable, right?
And the thing that I find the hardest is the lack of legroom. While 2 seats in economy is enough for me to fly comfortably, of course I wish that I had a little bit more room.
I mean, that's a problem for everybody, not
demands.
just plus-size people. Literally any man with long legs. Annoying, okay? Even women struggle with that, okay? Just airlines don't have
society,
much
dude.
place in the
Imagine
goddamn
they
plane,
tell me.
A
all right?
little bit more room, especially when it comes to legroom. All in all, I will say if you're size 6X like me or smaller, you will be able to travel comfortably in 2 economy seats.
She seems like a sweet person, not gonna lie. It's just she's gone down a pretty dark path that's
No, she's
probably
not
not
sweet.
gonna end well, and it's probably gonna end pretty early at like 40 or something. And she's gonna get a pretty big shock from her partner, or any other people in her movement.
If you need a seatbelt extension, that's okay. Be sure to ask for one as soon as you board the plane. That way you can get it and you can be on your way with no worries.
Seat belt extension. What? Dude, that thing is so long. Like, you got plenty of space. Like, that goes, dude, I can't be. Yes, and also that seatbelt is not holding you. They're probably gonna need modified seatbelts to hold you, dude.
Just for fat people.
If like
Jeez.
if there's like turbulence or something, I don't think that tiny ass seatbelt is stopping you. Like, no way. Is it phobic if the airline staff assume that you need a seatbelt extender and without asking just hand you one?
Accessibility is for everyone. No one should feel ashamed or embarrassed for using the tools they need to navigate
So what's your legs for then? Fucking idiot.
the world. Your worth is not determined by your size or ability. You deserve to feel comfortable and confident wherever.
Fine, but damn, don't make a scene out of it. Don't be entitled. Oh man. I hate these kind of people. I just reminds me of me playing games in Dota 2. Man. Like the guy who's feeding is demanding way too much for his team, while the other team, while his team is just carrying his ass, his heavy ass. Jesus.
Wherever you go. Using mobility aids is a sign of strength and self-care.
What? Using mobility aids is a sign
Sign of self-care? No. That's the opposite. Are you kidding me? You standing with your two own feet is a sign of self-care. You using tools is a sign of weakness. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
of strength and self-care, not weakness or defeat. People need that when they're handicapped. Obviously, you need it.
Exactly. Those things are for handicapped people. Dude.
You should use it, but you should actively try to get off it any way you can. Okay, people who've been in injuries need to use a mobility device, and they sometimes go through grueling physical therapy to nurse themselves back to health to the point where they can finally start walking again. Here you are just being like, this is a sign of strength. Okay, what? I just watched the South Park episode. Okay, dude.
Not weakness or defeat. Don't let anyone make you feel
Bring the shame back. Bring the Game of Thrones shame, walk of shame thing again. Bring it back. Shame. Tring tring.
otherwise. Don't let anyone else's opinions or judgments hold you back from living your life.
Do what you will, just don't be entitled about it. Jesus.
To the fullest.
Fullest is running, jumping, doing a muscle up, going rock climbing, going on the mountains, hiking. That's living life to the fullest, okay? What's that quote? Is it Socrates or something? It is a shame for a man to grow old without discovering the beauty and strength of which the body is capable? Something like that? I woke up in a new Bugatti.
Worthy of all the things you desire.
Oh my god, girl, you ate the store.
You have the right to move through the world with ease and confidence.
How are you looking at the items on the top of the aisles? You have to get up at some point, unless you're bothering the workers again, but that just seems hella annoying. Sometimes they're not nearby, right?
Accessibility is a human right, not a privilege. Let's work together to create a world where everyone can access the things they need.
You're not handicapped. Just sign of laziness, bro. I understand if you're gonna use tools in like work or something, but this, you're shopping. You don't need tools to shop.
Without barriers.
What is this music? What is this music?
Accessibility.
Look at the comments. You must walk. That's good advice. Just see me rolling. My mom had an emergency back surgery last year and actually needed one of those, but they were always gone. Sad to see people can't just walk around the store. That's so messed up, okay? There's probably a limited amount of them, and they're being used by people who self-inflict their goddamn injuries over here. Are you kidding me? By the way, I'm pretty sure she can walk. She just chooses not to. Like,
She's
you
lazy.
saw her in a couple of videos just, you know, trying on a couple of clothes.
Oh man, it's so gross.
Spinning around. Like, I'm fairly certain with a couple of weeks of practice and, you know, a little bit of dieting, you'd be fine, and you'd be giving that scooter to somebody who actually needs it. Now get a pair of those claws. You can get the jumbo pack of chips easily so you can love yourself. Of course, this guy's name obviously adds up, dude. I like you for you. Oh boy, I did not want to see that. There's somebody for everyone, that's for sure. You know what? I'm actually glad you found someone that supports you in your lifestyle. I mean, both of you can live a very happy and short life.
In flying solo, and when I was a size 4 and 5X, I was able to comfortably sit in a first class seat, just one, and I would do that anytime I was flying by myself.
You were totally the norm, buying a first class seat just to travel. This person truly represents the marginalized of society, the true sufferers. First class seat, amazing.
I fly by myself because I have a partner and we're both plus size, so we just make sure to get anything that we need to accommodate ourselves comfortably. And keep in mind that if you're commenting this on someone's post, they probably know they're plus size and they're probably already doing whatever they can to make sure they're comfortable and everyone around them is going to be comfortable too.
Well, they're definitely not doing what they can to come down a couple sizes. You said yourself you were a 4 and a 5 size. The only reason you went to 6 is because you preach this all day, every day. You're literally manifesting getting bigger and bigger. And
Paying this girl to do this shit, to say this kind of shit. Is it Chinese government?
once you have to do one of those crazy surgeries to get rid of some of that fat, you're not gonna like it, okay? It's not fun. The shipping industry is still an option. Okay, dude. Anyways, guys, if you truly love yourself, you would probably take care of yourself by diet and exercise. That's just my take on it. If it's a personal choice, whatever, that's fine. But I just don't like the glorifying the whole thing, saying that I earn 6 figures, you know, just showing this lifestyle to everybody and saying that, look at my life, I'm so great. Anyways, that's pretty much it for J-Bay. Till next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
No, we've actually got some.
We've all wasted money on something at some point in our lives. I know I'm guilty of that. I once spent $200 on a pocket trumpet that I never learned how to play, and then an additional like $150 on a theremin that I only tried to play a couple of times and never mastered. And these two items now just haunt my shelves in the closet. Big waste of money, and I do regret it. Of course, this is going to vary from person to person, but I can say with a high level of confidence you have not wasted as much money as Universal did for the rights to The Exorcist. 400 million clams in order to buy the rights for The Exorcist to make a trilogy out of it, and the first movie just dropped called Exorcist Believer. And I'm here to tell you after seeing it that this was the worst money ever spent. They blew their load with 400 mil and had nothing left over for writers, so they really relied on ChatGPT to scrap something together. This is laughable. This movie did not make me a believer in the future of this franchise. It made me a believer in true evil in Hollywood to allow this type of fucking terrible blemish to exist. This film is insulting to the legacy of The Exorcist. It is by far the most influential horror movie ever made, The Exorcist I'm speaking about, and to have this movie now coming out, even though I know the second and third Exorcist movies aren't exactly the best, this is so much worse. They could have spent $400 million for the rights to Jimmy Neutron and made a Hugh Neutron spinoff, and it probably would have been higher quality than this. And they had self-reflection on like the importance here of what they were making.
Okay, I'm going off.